You are now listening to the Role Players Podcast.
Welcome to the Role Players Podcast, where we give you a little mix of the news and a little entertainment, as we've seen this week, all in the spell of a nice package podcast. I am B, also known as Words of Wisdom, and I'm here with Mr. Philosophical J, and we are holding it down for Team TRP this week. A lot has happened this week.
Yeah.
A lot has happened this week. You know, I made a joke on Facebook and I said the only thing missing from the NFL is Vince McMahon walking down the ramp, sliding into a ring.
And man, did he slide into it.
Man, I'm telling you, this is almost like WWE, man. It is some storylines to follow, and we will do our very best to give you our takes on all of the stories that's happening. But first and foremost, if you're listening to this and you want to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend about a friend, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, which is home of the Role Players, and several other podcast streaming platforms. Or tell them to find us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We're out there for your entertainment, definitely. But man, oh man, let's kick this thing off with the Jaguars-Titans game. I said the Jaguars the way I hate to say it, hear it said, but the Jaguars. But man, what a game. And it was only, I'm going to say it was only a game, and I'm a Jaguars fan. I'm going to say it was only a game because of what went down with Jalen Ramsey all week. ESPN, Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, Mortensen, it doesn't matter. If you're anybody that's following NFL football, this is turning into the Jalen Ramsey watch. He demanded a trade. He wants out of Jacksonville. Or does he? Well, surprisingly, he played in the game. And he played competitively too. He
was very effective.
Well, he played 100% of the defensive snaps.
So you're Mr. Duval guy, man. You're Mr. Jacksonville.
Duval.
I read something today that said, I was sitting in the barbershop, man, you know, get my trim up and my edge up. And I read that Jalen Ramsey is quote unquote, he's okay with staying in Jacksonville. And Shad Khan? Shad Khan, okay.
Shad, he made a statement today.
He made a statement saying, yeah, we'll pay him his money.
He said he loves Jalen Ramsey.
So that right there, you know, it was a couple, and you know, I sent you a little message earlier this week. That wasn't a message saying, hey, yeah, we getting Jalen Ramsey. That was a message saying, you all are full of poop.
Yeah.
Because we offered 5 draft picks.
Rumored.
We offered 5 draft picks.
Because I don't believe that.
And one was a first round pick. And we even said you can have whichever DB on our team except for Richard Sherman.
We don't want one of your DBs. And we definitely don't want Richard Sherman. That's not going to help.
And we said we'll throw that in.
Nah.
And you guys could have what you want. And you turned it down. As well as, you know, other franchises offered.
Yeah.
A great deal.
It sounds like the best packages out there may come from Kansas City and actually Cleveland.
Yes.
Because they said if Cleveland can throw us 1 to 2 picks, definitely a first rounder, and then throw us I want to say like Greedy Williams, or what's the other DB? His name has slipped my mind. But I was like, Greedy Williams and 2 picks? Hey. Might be a nice fresh start.
Maybe.
Yeah. But, I mean, now, this is what I want to know. Because Jacksonville straight up went out there and made the Tennessee Titans pay. They made them pay without any relentlessness. I don't even know if that's a word.
That's not a word, man.
But I'm going to say it tonight. I'm going to say it tonight. But, man, they played excellent football. Jacksonville returned. They had 9 sacks, man. Old man Calais, I like that. I like that ring of that. I want to get a shirt made that says old man Calais.
Really? After you gave him the hardest time.
I gave Calais hell, man.
Week. You gave him pure hell.
Well, did you see him last night? He took a knee a few times. He's not a spring chicken, Jay. That's just what it is. He's not a spring chicken.
Calais is.
He's a force, though.
He's a hell of a ball player. But I think he was just a little bit too excited last night. You guys just won your first game. He was like, Saxonville's back. Tell him Saxonville's back.
And I told
him it's back. And then he was like, tell him. And then it looked like he forgot what he said. Tell him.
Old man Calais, man. But, this whole thing about Jalen Ramsey, if you really don't know what's been going on or what it's all about, I'm going to do a quick recap so that we can get on to another big storyline of the week. Jalen Ramsey blew up. I mean, he exploded on the sideline during the Houston, Texas game, week 2, and Doug Marrone, the head coach, went over and tried to, calm him down, and Ramsey was fuming. He was fuming. Now, post-game, and this happened early, like first quarter. Post-game, Marrone was dismissive. Jalen Ramsey didn't even show to the podium, and he said, I don't remember what happened in that moment in the game. That's the quote from Doug Marrone. He said those types of things happen all the time, Jalen Ramsey was kind of like those types of things happen all the time. Well, what does not happen all the time is the trade request that he made Monday. In Monday Morning Quarterback, he made a trade request. He said he wants out of Jacksonville. Now, everyone allegedly thought, hey, it's Doug Marrone, it's the head coach. Well, as the story developed, Jalen Ramsey said, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with anyone in that locker room. I don't have anything negative to say about anyone here in that locker room. These are hints that he's dropping. These are nuggets. Because he does not have a problem with Doug Marrone. It's not even in the locker room. His problem, he says, is with Tom Coughlin. Old man Tom. That's what they call him down in Jacksonville. Tom Coughlin has been the vice president of the Jaguars for the president of the Jaguars for several years now. I want to say maybe 3. It's not that many years, but it's enough for his impact to be felt. Well, Tom Coughlin hasn't done a lot of positive moves, and Tom Coughlin is old school to no school. Like, this guy is not going to take anything less than a militant approach. What Jalen Ramsey said, I'm not with it. He actually went on a podcast. If you can find the 17 Weeks podcast, Jalen Ramsey went out and spoke on it. He said that he is disappointed. He said he was disrespected. That's what he said. He said he was disrespected by the front office, which it's Coughlin. That's who the front office is. Well, developing later on Friday, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, came out and said he loves Jalen Ramsey and he hopes to pay Jalen Ramsey. So now it's looking like there may be a chance to salvage the relationship between Jalen Ramsey in Jacksonville with the Jaguars. So, I mean, man, is this dude really going to get traded? Because right now, it's a battle of, do you choose the star and beloved player in the Hall of Fame, like the Hall of Fame potential player? Like, this guy is a generational player. Do you choose him over the front office of Tom Coughlin that has a long history with the Jaguars? Like, what is it, Jay?
I think, me personally, I would choose to move on from Jalen Ramsey.
What?
And the reason why I would choose. Now, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen. I believe they're going to side with Jalen Ramsey. But the reason why I would choose to move on from Jalen Ramsey is because he has to buy in.
He has to buy in.
He has to buy in to trying to make this organization better.
He has bought in.
Has he bought in? Because I hear him make...
All he want to do is win, man.
So why did he come out and say he doesn't like how he's being used? He wants them to play more man coverage. He wants them... I mean, it's so many things he was complaining about. But it's like...
But it makes sense, though.
Why does it make sense?
It makes sense because the guy is a man-to-man cornerback. He's not really a zone guy.
But he's your other man.
I mean, look, you can run one guy, and I know it's rare because when it played with Revis now, the Jaguars could really benefit from playing man to man because of that front seven. They could do a little more man to man, guy. They could do a little bit more man to man than they do. Come on.
I don't know, man, because AJ Boye played man to man on Chris Davis, Charles Davis,
and he was money.
But that's on Tennessee.
Okay. It was Tennessee.
What about T.Y. Hilton?
Okay, what about T.Y. Hilton?
Can you play man-to-man on T.Y. Hilton?
Jalen Ramsey can play man-to-man on T.Y. Hilton.
But what about A.J. Boye?
A.J. Boye, who is he going to play man-to-man on? Who's the second guy in Indy?
I'm just saying, man, you have to buy into the scheme of the team.
The scheme isn't working.
The scheme is working because you guys have been a top defense at least for the last 2.5 years.
And we also have moments where we're not that top.
It's not because of the cornerback coverage.
Yeah, but I mean, you're taking an anthill and turning it into a mountain. Like, that's the one thing that he said that everybody's hanging on to. It's other things that we do that we could do better. A lot of things we could do better.
Yeah, but this is with the trade. Him not being happy last year came out. Him not being happy. I mean, this season. I mean, we're 2 weeks into the season. I mean,
it's Tom Coughlin.
Well, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Me personally, I would move on. I would trade Ramsey. That's what I would do. But if I'm going to tell you what the organization is going to do, I think they're going to choose Ramsey over Coughlin. So they'll sit them down if they already haven't, and they'll say, "Look, man, you got to make this work." And 9 times out of 10, if I know, like I've been studying Tom Coughlin the last 20 years, he's going to say, "Nah."
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to walk away.
And that's fine, man. That's fine because Jalen Ramsey's impact on the team has been greater than Tom Coughlin's impact. I mean, you have Tom Coughlin with this run first mentality, and then they've kind of fallen into a guy in Gardner Minshew that's throwing the ball. If it's not for Gardner Minshew, you don't even have a win last night because at one point, Leonard Fournette was 9 carries for -8 yards. Like how? And I know they're saying that the line isn't blocking that well. I've seen some horrible lines, and a running back can at least fall forward for 5 yards. Come on, man. Come with me now. But, I respect your standpoint on choosing to trade Jalen Ramsey, but I wouldn't trade Jalen Ramsey. Now, what comes with that is if you pay him this King's ransom contract that he's hoping to get, you're not only going to reset the market, but you're going to reset the market for your team. And you still have Yannick Ngakoue to re-sign. You still have some names out there. So what's going to happen is you're going to either have to let some guys go like Calais Campbell and A.J. Boye to preserve the young core of the Jaguars. But Jalen Ramsey has made it clear, man, he wants out. He wants out, and we'll see if that really happens.
He's bluffing.
I think it's some smoke being thrown around. I will say that. But where there's smoke, there's a fire. And there's definitely a fire in New England. But they put it out quickly. Antonio Brown finally got what he wanted. He got out of Oakland. He got out of the black hole and landed into the Blue Lagoon in New England.
Yeah.
Because he landed in some clam chowder up there in Massachusetts. And let me tell you, man, he could not swim. He couldn't make that thing float this time because they released him. It's official. I saw it break through on Twitter, actually. Of all people, I saw a retweet or whatever, but it was AB's tweet. And he was basically saying that he had gotten released. He was like, well, he said, thanks for the opportunity. So I'm sitting there, and if you Role Player Nation, Phil. And I said, let me text Phil, because Phil is always on top of stuff. And I said, hey, man, I think they just released AB. And he said, oh, they did. Of all the things, of all the wildest stories that have happened in the NFL, the Josh Gordons. You have the guys like T.O., the Randy Mosses. Who else is another crazy story where you say, well, I can't believe it just ended like that, or it just came and went. The Charles Rogers for the Detroit Lions. You have all these guys that have all these problems on and off the field. Even Aaron Hernandez. And AB has topped them all, man. So, is AB going to play again? Like, let's just cut straight to it, man. Is he going to play? Is a team going to take a risk on AB and say, hey, we're going to roll with it? Because keep in mind, when, what was it, Michaels, the linebacker for Philly?
Yes.
For insider trading, Philly went ahead and released him. Well, he got picked up, and to this day, he's still playing. So, is another team going to take a chance on AB and say, hey, he's dirt cheap now, dirt cheap. And we're going to go ahead and bring him in, let him play ball, and then once the legal side of it gets sorted out, then we'll figure all that out.
If I'm close to winning a championship right now,
Kansas City and New England.
It's some other teams out there he maybe can put over the edge.
Like who?
Maybe a Green Bay.
Nah, they're not taking.
Maybe Seattle.
Yeah, maybe.
Although their coach already put in, he said no.
Yeah,
thanks.
they're not kind.
Maybe
players like that.
Maybe a San Fran, a Philly.
Maybe Philly. I can't see Philly buying into that though.
Because this is my
maybe
thing.
Kansas City though.
Yeah, but Kansas City.
Nah, they can't do that because they cut.
They cut
Hunter.
They cut Hunt.
Yeah,
Kareem Hunt.
They cut Hunt.
That's why I say I really, I could see maybe a San Fran.
Maybe the Chargers.
Maybe not the Chargers.
I don't know. Maybe Minnesota. It's not going to be. I can't see any of the other teams that you mentioned doing it, though.
So this is my thing with AB.
Maybe
man.
Baltimore.
I think AB needs to sit down. You know how your kid or your son or your nephew, you're watching them and they do something a little absurd and you scratch your head and you say, I can't believe you did that.
I really can't.
I think he needs to sit down and take a time out for about 5 or 6 weeks. Just get everything readjusted to not playing football.
He'd be good and suspended then.
He'll be good and suspended.
He's going to get suspended.
He will.
The telltale sign for me on AB was when I saw Nike release him. When Nike dropped him
last night, right? Out of nowhere, right? It was like,
Nike
where did that come from?
Dropped him like a bomb from Tom Brady in the hand
out of
Randy
nowhere
Moss.
last night. Because first thing I said when I seen it, I was like, where the hell is this coming from? Because this been going on now for a while. And actually, when he pushed his way, some say he pushed his way out of Oakland. When he pushed his way out of Oakland, this is something that Pittsburgh really was sweeping under the rug and kept a good low key profile on the situations, and then it popped up.
Yeah, his agent did an excellent job.
A hell of a job, right?
Of keeping it buried. Which
Right.
his agent is Drew Rosenhaus.
Right.
So
he's the top dog.
He kept that thing buried. But Oakland didn't do enough research. When he ended up getting into New England, well, it's funny how all of a sudden it came out. It was a bit much, And then it's gotten even deeper because the first claim about his sexual assault was a civil case. That was a civil case. Young lady wants payment, money. I'm not choosing sides in it because you got to know all of the factors. And when we're talking about law, it's based off of fact. We're not talking about who we like. We're not talking about opinions. We're basing this completely off of fact. But when Nike dropped him, the criminal claim had come out against him. Because he has a criminal charge now.
Yes.
That was a civil charge before. Now it is a criminal charge. That is too much. When Nike drops you, there is some fire where that smoke is coming up out of the ground from. That's what that is.
Yeah, they have done their research and their due diligence.
Oh, you know it.
Because they're not going to miss out money and they're not going to jeopardize their brand. So for them to make that move, it was like, you may be in trouble this time.
Yeah. Nike looked at it and said, you know what? Just do it. We're going to cut them.
Yeah, we're gonna cut ties with it because we can't risk anything else going on. So
it's too much, man.
For those who don't know what happened, can you tell us what happened?
With AB?
Yeah.
As far as what the charges or all of that?
Yeah, what happened? What prompted him to be released today?
Well, what prompted him to be released today, from my understanding, is the criminal charge. You know, the criminal charge of sexual assault. Another woman has come forward and, you know, she said that she wanted to press charges criminally against Antonio Brown. And if you know New England, they do their research, but once a criminal charge has come against you, what you're risking now is the NFL suspending you. Because the NFL has suspended guys before. You know, they suspended Zeke, and Zeke was found innocent.
So you don't know that he threatened.
I saw the text.
Yeah,
text messages.
Yeah, he threatened.
Yeah, they
one
said
of those
that there's
young ladies.
They say there's text messages of him threatening a young woman. Or I shouldn't say a young woman. He was threatening a woman. It's so much that's coming to the surface on Antonio Brown. A suspension is imminent, man. It's gonna happen.
8 games.
Yeah, it's probably gonna start at 6 and go from there.
I think someone to take a chance with him. I just believe he needs to sit in time out for a second and just think about what it is that's more important to him in his life. Because he made a charades at Oakland, and really the whole offseason the whole NFL offseason has been about AB.
Yeah, he took over a good chunk of the offseason because
even Odell,
nobody talked him.
Yeah, everyone thought Odell would be the talk of the offseason, but it turned into AB. It turned into a Hard Knocks fiasco. It turned into a helmet fiasco. It turned into a New England fiasco. He was getting his way. But I believe this is what I think will happen. And maybe I'm wrong. I think New England did do their research. But after playing him, because he didn't have huge numbers on Sunday.
No, he had solid numbers.
It was solid. So I think
it was a start.
I think after playing him and other cases come out, I think they just sat down and they said, thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, I think we'll just move on from him because
they didn't need him.
It ain't like we need this guy. It's not like he came here and had, because when Randy Moss stepped on the field, he had instant impact that day.
Man, I don't think people, if you're too young to remember, or you wasn't really paying attention when Randy Moss touched down in New England, that first week really looked like the NFL wasn't safe. When AB touched the field, it was like, oh, well, you know, hey, it's another option.
Another option. They still got tons of options, but, you know, we ain't really seeing what he's worth right now. So I believe that was kind of, that weighed a little bit, and I think they said, let's just move on while we can.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. You know, I think it was a good time to sever ties. You know, the money that he was supposed to make, very little of it was guaranteed. He gave up the guaranteed money to land into a contract where he could possibly get guaranteed money, and now he's just flat out like, that's the way of the Patriots. But from AB, which was 1/3 of the Killer Bees in Pittsburgh, to another Killer Bee in Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger, and this next thing, it's really just not about Ben Roethlisberger. The NFL quarterbacks are under attack. It's crazy. Drew Brees is down. Ben Roethlisberger is down. Cam Newton is probably down. It started with Nick Foles, and the genesis of this whole thing the origin of this whole thing is Andrew Luck retiring. It's a lot of quarterbacks going down, man. We're not even going to talk about Darnold because that's another one that's down. It's so crazy that so many backups are playing. And, you know, I was listening to the radio this morning, and they made a good point that Mike Leach, I can't even think of his name, the college coach. They coached Gardner Minshew. He coached Baker Mayfield. He even coached Falk that's up there playing for the Jets. This dude is the quarterback whisperer on the collegiate level. I mean, he produces big-time arms. Kyler Murray. I mean, the list goes on. So, these backups are just floating around in the NFL. A lot of these quarterbacks are going down. I say it's due to the fact that nobody took preseason seriously. That's what I say. I'm going to stand by that. I don't care who agrees or disagrees. That's my opinion. I think these guys have had too much rest. They never saw any true action. And they came into a serious game instead of just a dress rehearsal. And these guys were not as sharp or quick as they usually are going into the season because they didn't see live action until it was real live action. I think I would like to go out and get some rubber bullets shot at me before I go into war. How about you, Jay?
Well, I heard that rubber bullets hurt. I think I would just pass on that before I go into war. If I'm going to get shot, just let me get shot.
You don't have a choice.
I'm going to have to take that choice. So
you're going dead into the fire.
I'm going dead into the fire.
Into the fire.
So to me, you know, I mean, I totally agree with the speed of the game. You know, you having to be on the speed of the game and everything. But to me, I just think it's more so the rules have changed. We're protecting the quarterbacks so much that they actually aren't protected. Because with quarterbacks, would you rather get hit? Okay, you play football. We know you play football. Does it hurt more when you're bracing for the hit or when you just get hit?
When you're bracing.
When you're bracing?
Yeah.
So when you're worried about getting hit.
Well, it depends. It depends.
Or when you're thinking about getting hit, it hurts more than it does if you just get hit.
If you get hit and go with the motion of the hit,
yeah,
you're fine. That's what I'm saying.
So I think they kind of waiting for the refs because let's call it what it is. The refs have got off to a horrible start.
Man, that game last night was stupid.
Horrible. But you know what they're not doing? Protecting the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, and that's only fair.
I'm serious. They're not really protecting the quarterbacks, and that's supposed to be their main issue. So this NFL has gotten a little bit too much into hits on the heads, because I've seen hits on the head, and you're like, you really calling that, man? But they just drilled this dude. Like Carson Wentz had a personal foul called against, it was called against one of the Atlanta defenders. But the one that should have been a personal foul, when the guy lunged in the air and hit him in the ribs and drove him to the ground.
Yeah.
That was a personal foul.
Yeah.
The other one when he was throwing and the guy grazed the side of his helmet, that's not a personal foul.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they need to call back Ed Hockley, Dunn, Carey, some of these guys. Why do I know so many referee names? But
the good referee names.
Yeah.
So what I think they should do is,
I think it was Don Carey.
I think after this weekend's games, they need to go have a seat and they need to eliminate the pass interference call.
They need to take that away.
They need to take those away. It's not
the
working.
Challenge thing.
Take away the challenge.
Still call a penalty, but nobody's gonna win that.
No.
Nobody's gonna win that challenge, man. It has to be a clear pass interference, like what happened to the Saints.
But you know why no one's going to win that? That's undermining the refs. Because it's a judgment call.
to the umpteenth power is
undermining the refs. So if you start challenging those calls,
then
next you're going to be
challenging.
Yeah, next you're going to be challenging all kind of calls. Just blatant.
And
Like
it's slowing the game down. There's so many flags getting called, and then you have these coaches going, oh man, they say holding is up over 60% this year.
You know why?
Increased by 60%.
Because they're trying to pay attention to get the call too correct. That they're focusing too much on the little calls and not the major calls that matter. Just play the game, and I mean,
it's gonna be some good calls. It's gonna be some bad calls.
Absolutely.
But let's play the game, man. If Calais Campbell gets held and then he still gets the sack, or if Calais Campbell gets held and then he doesn't make the play and they don't call it, look, man, Gardner Minshew is gonna get a call on the other side. So, man, let's just take away so many penalties. But I mean, not to bury the story, I feel you. It's all about these quarterbacks getting hurt. But
that's part of them getting hurt because we're not protecting the quarterbacks like we once were used to. We're not protecting the quarterbacks, and they're missing some of the hits on quarterbacks. And I mean, I seen a call in week 1 with my 49ers. Quan got ejected for a hit on Jameis Winston. It should have been a 15-yard penalty. It shouldn't have been an ejection. But I seen at least 6 other hits that weekend on quarterbacks that they let go that I was like, how are you going to let that go? But that's a blatant late hit.
Yeah.
And the sliding, the quarterbacks are sliding each other. Like, why don't we bring in
a
baseball guys that these guys learn how to slide?
Because that's gonna get more quarterbacks injured than anything. Like, man, I watch Gardner Minshew, and I hate to keep calling out Gardner Minshew, but that's who I see the most of. I've seen several quarterbacks though this season, and they just can't slide. They can't slide at all. So I don't know what the problem is, man. They need to get better at it. But hey, from sliding to the turf, man, to sliding into this week 3 matchup roundup, got to take a look at the pick'ems. Jay, you're on fire, man. You're starting out the season excellently.
Yeah,
you make me sick.
Old ways.
You make me sick. Well, last week you didn't have the best record on the pick sheet.
No.
That went to Mr. I-95 too many Zooms because he's not here tonight.
He cheated off my sheet.
This guy went 11-4, followed by Jay, who went 10-5.
Oh, it's clear. It's obvious he cheated.
Man, he didn't cheat.
He cheated off my sheet, man.
Well, I should have cheated off someone. I went 8-7.
Bah, bah, bah.
Well, no more, my friend. Because the Jaguars.
What's the total record?
Total record, I'm 19-11.
Okay.
But you're 23-7. And when the season starts, man, it's hard to get them wins back. It's hard to get them wins back. But I know we'll definitely be on the sheet every week. What a week do we have lined up, man?
Yes, sir.
I want to take a look at it. 3, maybe 4 of these games, just depending on what time looks like. But let's jump right into it, man. We're going to go with, who did we say earlier? We said, we're going to talk about Mr. Daniel Jones in his first NFL start going up against the Buccaneers. And Jameis Winston, which it's not going to be his last start, but boy, Jameis Winston and Mariota, they just look like straight up busts.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
That's horrible. Mariota, I don't know what the hell that was last night. That guy, he doesn't run. He doesn't evade any sacks anymore. And the line was horrible, but geez, Mariota, 9 sacks.
You know what I say about them?
17 on the year.
Every time I see them play, college football is one hell of a game. I'm serious, man.
There's not a bigger scam to a professional organization or a professional league ever.
And
Because
people
college
bet
football
on that
is
stuff.
misleading. But here we are, Jameis Winston going up against Daniel Jones, man. Daniel Jones had a lot of fire in preseason. A lot of fire. He's finally taking over the Giants. I doubt we see Eli ever again unless Daniel Jones gets injured, which we definitely don't hope that. But Saquon finally has his champion. He has Daniel Jones under center, handing him the ball off and making throws to this team of receivers. They can't stay healthy, that's for sure. But the Giants have new life. So do the Buccaneers. Because Bruce Arians is the quarterback whisperer, as they say. And, I mean, they're finding a way with Jameis. They're finding a way.
Yeah.
That's important. But I don't think Jameis makes it out of this season as a Buccaneer again. You know, he won't be back after this season.
Oh, I often say, where is he going to go?
I don't know. He'll land on somewhere. I mean, Blake Bortles landed on somewhere. So did Tannehill. He'll land somewhere. All first-round quarterbacks get another opportunity. Tennessee. They better not. I would slap Tennessee bald. But, man, can the Giants do this thing?
Oh, man. So it's going to be a great day because he has Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, he's gonna run wild.
He's gonna run wild. It's gonna be a lot of play action, a lot of bootlegging, bootleg, play action, bootleg, shot down the field. But man, I mean, I just call it what it's called, man. It's a work in progress in New York. I think they kind of they was already driving and they pressed the gas and they went a little too far. And I think they're gonna get their first speeding ticket this Sunday.
Skirt.
Yeah. They're gonna travel down I-95 to Tampa Bay. And they are gonna get knocked off, man. Tampa Bay is really I think Daniel Jones should not be playing. Tampa Bay has a very low key underrated defense. I don't think the defense and this weather, and it may be raining down there too.
Oh.
I don't think that's a great start for you to come out in your first game started. But hey, they call him Baby Peyton Manning. They call him the unofficial Manning. Maybe he's going to do something.
He's Bizarro Manning. And because he's Bizarro Manning, I'm going to have a bizarre pick, and I'm going to go with the young man. I'm going with Daniel Jones.
Wow.
Yeah, I picked the Giants last week. They were part of my Lucky Seven.
I shouldn't have picked the Giants.
The Magnificent Seven.
I shouldn't have picked them.
No, don't do that. Don't do that because we're both winners this week. Congratulations. You're in the winner's circle. But from the Giants to the next key matchup that we have, it's time for Deshaun Watson to either stand up or
sit down.
I wouldn't say sit down, but man,
hand it off.
Take a knee. Because he's going up against that Chargers defense. Chargers defense have not looked the part this year. I will say that. We know that Derwin James is out. We know that Bosa is always a wild card to play. Something about those Bosas, man.
Yeah.
A Bosa mimosa. But these guys, they're not off to the best start, man. They lost last week to Detroit. Of all teams, Detroit, that tied with the Arizona Cardinals. They couldn't even take a loss the right way.
No.
In week 1. But here we are. Deshaun Watson, the man that can make anything happen. He makes a lot of moves happen. He survived the Jacksonville game, and Jacksonville has a very similar defense to the Chargers. Can he show up and show out along with Hopkins? The secondary is a little depleted, hurt by James not being out there on the field. But it is the Chargers. The Chargers are always a hot ticket or either a cold frozen dinner.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Houston has been a frozen dinner as well. Yeah. I mean, let's just call it what
they
it
didn't
is.
Look that good against.
They didn't look that good against y'all. And then when I watch you guys last night, and then I think about Houston first 2 games, Houston should be 0-2
going into this game. I agree.
Yeah, by a long shot. They shouldn't even been close. If you guys would have had Nick Foles, you probably would have beat Houston. I could say that.
But we had Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, but that's not enough. Gardner Yoshimitsu is not enough.
Put a stash on
Yoshimitsu. So anyway, like I said, I think Watson, it's just something missing from Houston team, from the team. They have the top wide receiver. Watson actually puts up decent numbers. He takes a lot of sacks. He puts up decent numbers. A lot of them. The running game, they don't really have a running game, but when you look at the numbers, you say they actually ran the ball pretty well.
They did. I mean,
yeah, they had a combination. Even Duke Johnson is getting some yardage receiving.
He has to take the next step, though, man.
He has to take the next step, but it's something is missing from this team, and I think it's eating dubs. So I'm rolling with Philip Roaring Rivers.
Hey, I'm going to roll with Mr. Rivers, too. Because, still waters run deep. And Rivers, it's going to make that thing flow.
Make it flow, bro.
It's going to flow, bro. I think that it's going to be a big-time game for the Chargers. I think this is going to be the game to help them get off the snide. I ain't said that one in a while.
Off the snide.
Off the snide. I think it's going to be a big-time game for the Chargers. I'm really looking forward to that one. I might actually even watch that game. But a game that I know without a doubt people will probably be watching is not the Chargers, the Seahawks against who they. Because you really have to say who they now. They're not Breeze anymore. Are they Bridgewater? Are they Taysom Hill? Who are they? I mean,
I'm so tired of hearing about Taysom Hill, man.
Man, this Taysom Hill thing, let's get into it. I believe that Taysom Hill is what Tebow could have been. I believe Taysom Hill is a football player. I believe he's a good player, too. I think he plays hard. I think Taysom Hill under center will absolutely make you question what the hell is he doing on the field.
Yeah.
I'm not buying into it. Bridgewater, I know the guy has won games. He's even had a successful year, a winning year. It was way back when in Minnesota. I know it's been a while. But, man, Bridgewater didn't look absolutely horrible last week. But, I mean, he's not Breeze. It's going to look bad.
Yeah.
Let the Saints tell it. They're going to run 2 quarterbacks this week.
No, buddy.
Buddy, no. Buddy, hell no. Buddy, why do you think that's a good idea? Like, why? I don't think that's the move. The NFL is based off of timing. It's based off of just the flow of the game. It's based off of chemistry. That's not going to be good. That's not going to be good. And more than likely, I'm thinking they're going to do a lot of Wildcat.
A lot of Wildcat.
With Taysom Hill. And who the hell doesn't see that coming, Sean Payton? I know that the Seahawks see it coming. And this will be a good game for their defense. I'm, without a doubt, picking the Seahawks. I don't even have to waste time on this. No.
Because I'm gonna break it down from a different aspect. I'm gonna tell you this, man. You line Taysom Hill. Line him up at defensive end, he'll get a sack. Line him up at linebacker, he'll stuff a run. Line him up at corner, he'll make a pick.
Yeah.
Put him at wide receiver for giggles. He'll catch a 40-yard pass.
He'll catch something.
Put him at running back.
He'll run something.
You put him at quarterback, he's going to throw a dud. And I can guarantee you that because he is what Tebow should have been in the NFL. And it's kind of funny because you Saint fans, this is a kind of look into a crystal ball to see what your future is going to be.
Man.
Without Breeze. Because you guys have been, you have used Breeze. You haven't been as fortunate with Breeze as you should have been with like a franchise would be with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
They only got one with him.
You got one ring, and you got some years where you kind of tainted yourselves with the whole what would we call that? The something gate. What can I call it? When it was Bounty Gate.
Oh yeah, Bounty
Gate. So
that's when they were just running through defensive coordinators every year.
Every year.
Rob Ryan, Greg Williams.
Right. So I mean, it's gonna be a terrible show out there, man. I mean, I talked to some Saint fans today, and they said, you know, the first 2 losses without Breeze should be bad, but they're expecting to win 5 in a row afterwards.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you should say that because I think they say Breeze will be back. Maybe like week 8, 11.
And Breeze gonna be out longer than 6 weeks. You see that big wrap he had on his hand?
Man, that little piggy went to the market.
And he got to get back to squeezing the football.
He got to be able to grip that
That's
ball.
after
man.
that comes off of his hand.
That was the worst thing about the injury was that it was on his throwing hand. I don't know, man. I don't know if they can survive this season without Breeze. And even if he does come back, is it going to be too deep of a hole? Because I don't have a problem with Taysom Hill. I know I just ragged on the guy. I don't have a problem with Bridgewater, but we have to be realistic. I'm a Jaguars fan, and Gardner Minshew is playing way above expectations. Do I expect 10 wins still? No. I don't even expect, if we can get to 8, I think that would be a grand achievement. And then you go from 8 and go up. So for Saints fans, you gotta be realistic. I don't know if you can survive time without Breeze.
Kamara only had 30 yards rushing last week.
Man,
so he definitely has to get more than 39 yards rushing.
He was a different man.
So that's why I'm going with a different man this game. I'm going with Russell.
Mr. Sierra Mist.
Russell will rustle the leaves and Breeze will just fade away on the sideline.
That's a steal.
Seahawks
there.
big.
Seahawks big, ladies and gents. Boys and germs. Girls and boys and toys. All right. I know I went on a little rant right there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Was having fun. Well, the game of the week. And if you don't watch this game, then you're probably just not watching football at all. Lamar versus Mahomes. This is it, ladies and gentlemen.
Lamar is Mahomes.
Mahomes is Lamar.
Yeah.
This is like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. This is Kendrick Cole and J. Lamar.
This will be a fantasy nightmare.
Yeah. What you talking about? Big numbers?
I'm talking about big numbers. Whoever is playing against whoever.
Man, I have mercy on your soul. Because you're taking an L this week. First of all, let's start with the 2 quarterbacks. They're going to get big numbers by themselves.
I have Mahomes on my team.
I got Lamar on mine.
He's not a starter. Not on your team this week.
You don't think? I don't know. He might slide in for Russell, man. I might have to slide him on in there.
Mark Ingram is going to be affecting this ball game.
Everybody going to be affected in this game. This is going to be the fireworks that we wanted to see. And Tyreek Hill can't even be a part of it.
Can't even be a part of it.
Wow, speaking of Sierra, she's on a commercial for Kohl's.
Wow.
She was wearing orange and looked juicy.
Really?
Why not?
Yeah, this matchup is juicy, man. This matchup says scoreboard operator will be putting in overtime. That's what it says. Man. This is big. So, I mean, I'm just interested to see who will be the man because Sammy Watkins been getting like almost 16 targets since Hill didn't play much in that Jacksonville game. He played like 5 or 6 snaps. So, I mean, the first 2 weeks, Sammy Watkins has had 16 targets. Robertson had all the numbers last game. So, who do you think is going to be the man this week to get the targets and get who gets the numbers from Kansas City? Because it's looking like it's going to be a different guy every week. They have no running game.
Baltimore has a defense. Kansas City does not.
Right.
Usually when you're playing a defense, you got to find your quick and reliable target. And that's Kelsey.
I think Kelsey's going to have a big game.
I think he's going to show up.
He's been a little quiet the first 2 weeks.
I think he's going to show up. The thing that's alarming and a bit of a concern for Kansas City is who's going to be in the backfield with Mahomes, because Williams has been ruled out and McCoy is questionable. And even if McCoy
they say McCoy maybe he'll probably play. They say if he play, he'll be limited.
He'll be very limited. So, who's back there in the backfield with McCoy? Well, I mean,
they may put Sammy Watkins back there.
This game can get wild like that. It really can. It's gonna be an adventure.
What if Andy Reid goes back there?
He was the kick punt pass champion, but never did it say he could run.
Man. So what about Baltimore?
Andy Reid cheated somebody's child.
Andy Reid, man, let me tell you, man. I coach. I would have said, check that. Remember that video? Check that kid birth certificate, man.
Man, let's go grab it.
Check his birth certificate before I go any further.
I'm like, man, that's his father right there, and he's 80 years old. That is not.
You see that little small helmet they had that joke on, man?
Man, he was stuffed in that equipment.
Stuffed in that thing, man.
I ain't seen nothing busting out like that since a Krispy Kreme donut, buddy. Jellyfield,
man.
Creamfield. That was illegal.
So you don't think Brown's gonna have an impact in this game?
Brown,
the wide receiver.
Oh, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Man, I think he will. I got to make some fantasy moves. I'm going to tell you guys about some fantasy moves here soon. But
I'm going with Kansas City, man.
I got to go Baltimore, buddy.
Man, they in Kansas City, though.
Buddy, Baltimore got a defense, though. I don't care about
being
Baltimore
almost lost to Arizona last week.
Okay, fair.
Let's not don't get mixed up between Miami and the rest of the NFL.
Now, I'm not going to buy into that Miami thing because everybody know that's a free pass. And I'm mad Jacksonville ain't got no action in on that. But, yeah, that's not fair. It's not fair. Dallas is starting off the season against opponents that can't even win a game. But that's another story. But, yeah, man, I got to go Baltimore, man. I got to go with who can make one stop because that's all it's going to come down to. Who can make somebody say, all right, this time we'll kick a field goal. But the concerning part is Lamar Jackson. He will show up. He's going to show up eventually. And when I say show up, he's going to have a game where you say, I think you may be a running back in disguise.
Yeah. Kansas City, it's tough. Let me tell you, man, if you haven't, most quarterbacks who haven't gone into Kansas City, they go into Kansas City the first time. And they come out like, I didn't know this place was like that.
Yeah, in the middle of America, that little thing be rocking called Arrowhead. And when it's cold, it's cold. And when it's hot, it's hot. Arrowhead is legit, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the toughest places to play. But I still got to go Lamar. But that's your picks. And here are mine. Because I'm going to go ahead and finish off these picks. Cincinnati and Buffalo, I'm going Buffalo. Miami and Dallas, I don't even have to announce that. That's Dallas. Denver at Green Bay. Give me those cheeseheads. Atlanta at Indianapolis. Jacoby Brissett has been playing phenomenal, considering everything that's been going on. He's took it on like a champ, which is why I'm going to go Matt Ryan and the Falcons. There's no win in Indy this weekend. Oakland versus Minnesota. At Minnesota. Hey, man. Many men wish death upon me. Got to go Minnesota, man. The New York Jets at the New England Patriots. The Patriots keep on rolling. Detroit Lions at Philadelphia Eagles. I have to go Philly. Carolina Panthers at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals finally get that dub. I really need them to win, though. I'm trying to get a cheap seat to see the Jaguars. Just do that for me, Arizona.
What week?
5.
Oh, you're going to get a cheap seat.
Oh, I can't disclose what I found here on the podcast because I don't want anyone to undercut me. But I found something out there now.
Oh, I know.
Woo-woo.
2 weeks.
Then we're going to go Pittsburgh versus San Francisco. I got to go with the 49ers, man. I'm going with your guys. No Ben.
We rolling.
Mason Rudolph and whoever else.
That sounds like a reindeer, don't it?
Let me tell you, he cannot participate in the reindeer game.
Mason Rudolph.
Then we're going the LA Rams against the Cleveland Browns. I'm going with the Rams because Cleveland has not inspired or sparked any interest in me.
Not at all.
And then the Chicago Bears against the Washington Redskins. The Redskins are going to have an abysmal year. Throw in the rookie. Put him in, man. It don't even matter anymore. Put him in. See what he got.
Okay, so I'm going to roll with Cincinnati over Buffalo. I'm going with Dallas over the Miami Sharks.
All right.
Know who the Sharks is, right?
Yeah, you said the Miami Sharks. That was the arena team, right?
Nah, that was Any Given Sunday.
Franchise player, too.
Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay over Denver. Man, do you know that Chubb and Von Miller has no sacks, no hurries all season?
Man, it's
possible?
blowing my mind, man. It's only 5 linemen, and they both can't be getting double teamed. Now, if both of them getting double teamed, shame on whoever else is rushing the pass rusher.
So 2 things going to happen in that game.
Rushing the pass.
Either Aaron Rodgers going stupid crazy, or they're going to break out some sacks.
If they break out some sacks, then down goes that collarbone.
Absolutely. I'm taking Atlanta over Indy. We said Kansas City over Baltimore. Minnesota over Oakland. Man, every time I think about Oakland, man, I think about AB. Then I go New England over the Jets. Detroit over Philly. Philly has injury after injury. I got Arizona winning too, man, over Carolina.
Oh, man, it's in the skies.
It's
man.
a problem, man.
Cam might not play.
Nah, it's a real big problem.
And you know what? If Cam play, I'm still going Arizona.
Yeah, because that guy didn't look too good in preseason. They're not playing Will Grier.
Nah, they're not.
Was it Luke Allen?
Something like that, man.
Then I'm going San Fran over Pittsburgh. Man, San Fran's rolling. L.A.
I know you hype.
Really, man?
Yeah, I'm hating.
You know what? I'm more hype about something else. I'll talk about that off there. L.A. Rams.
We love L.A.
over Cleveland. And then I'm taking the Chicago Bears over Washington. Final score would be 2-0.
Man. You real rude. You rude for no reason. I didn't pick a score because I too will agree. Man, we might see about 10, 12 points up on the board. I mean, it's going to get ugly, man. But, man, oh, man. Well, that won't have any fantasy implications. But, hey, maybe you have some fantasy guys out there. And maybe you're in the Role Players Fantasy Football League. So let's take a roundup, shall we? We got 2 divisions, the East and the West. West side is the best side. Well, the West side is not the best side because I am tied with Waterboy in the East at 2-0, followed by us tied at 2-0, followed by Mr. Team, Mr. Know-It-All. That is Philosophical J. Trey for Illy Boys. And the Wakanda Panthers are tied for last place in the East, and they are both 0-2. Trey for Illy Boys, man, you got to start scoring some points, guy. You got to start scoring some points. But you got more than Wakanda. Going to the West, my nemesis is 2-0. The Town Boys, led by Antoine Steele, the culprit that lets his son play for him. His son be making some picks, though, man. Then we got a 3-way tie at number 2. But Keep Pounding with JC is at the real number 2 spot. At the second number 2 spot, which is number 3, we got Team Snap. That's the young nephew, Denard. And then at the third number 2 spot, which is the 4th spot, is Silver Stars Haney, which is the uncle of the nephew, Jamal. And then all the way down is the reigning number 2, runner-up last year, all the way back there at 0-2. This guy can't score points. Dream Team, Hugh Jazz. That's what your team is playing like. That was a creative name though. Shout out to Tommy for that. This guy, he can't score, man. He has the fewest points. But I'm off to an excellent start this week. I have 0 points against Trey for Illy Boys. He's already had 2 guys play, and he only has 12. He had Tennessee Titans defense, which gathered him 2 points. And then Derrick Henry only got him 10. If it wasn't for that touchdown, he would have been sitting at 4.
He'd been sitting at 4
and
points.
he'd have been 6 overall points.
I was just going to say, didn't he score a late touchdown, man?
A
It didn't
late
matter.
touchdown. It did not matter. I was mad at Jacksonville for that. Mr. Team Know-It-All is still sitting there at zeros. They haven't had a team play yet, but you're going up against Wakanda Panthers, so you're playing one of the worst teams, and so am I. So I'm actually looking forward to this fantasy week. If you're looking for some claims out there, I know that the Jaguars have already played, but you might want to look into DJ Chark. DJ Chark, DJ Chark, Y'all ain't got no player that can have his own little song like that.
If you got your own song like that, then we have a problem.
Oh, buddy. I know, because y'all don't have a guy that has a song like that.
Oh, man.
You also may want to look at Hollywood Brown. If Gardner Minshew is sitting out there too, you may want to look into Gardner Minshew.
How many points he had
Stash him.
yesterday?
Stash him.
I mean,
I don't know.
He's dinking and dunking, man.
That was not dink and dunk ball, man.
Bro,
you didn't watch the game.
He threw 36 times and had 204
You did
yards.
not watch the game.
Come on, man.
You may also, I'm not sure who's in the third spot for Kansas City, but they have to have a running back out there on the field. You may want to look into Andrews as well. I know he's questionable on the injury list for
They're going to use
Baltimore.
Hartman as their running back.
See? You may want to look into him.
I got him.
You also may want to look into, now this is an oldie but a goodie, Jimmy Graham. Aaron Rodgers likes to air it out, and Jimmy Graham is going to be a touchdown assassin. Look out for him. And don't forget, if Eric Ebron is out there, don't forget to pick him up.
What about Vance McDonald?
Leave him there.
Really?
I think you'll be all right. Yeah, they're not going to spread the ball like that.
Oh, he has to throw to somebody, though.
Yeah.
Juju won't get open on San Fran defense.
You know, I think they're going to force that ball to Juju.
But it's going to be a long day for Mason Rudolph.
It is. You know, when I hear Mason Rudolph, I think of Eric Rudolph, the guy that was responsible for the Atlanta bombings during the Olympics. Every time, and I was like, why when I hear his name, I kind of just cringe because of Eric Rudolph.
So you know who's a sleeper this week?
Who's a sleeper?
DK Metcalf.
He's probably on your free agent wire. You may want to go and pick up DK Metcalf.
He's been getting 5 to 7 targets a week. He's getting about 70 yards a game. And he's going to get a touchdown on someone. And right now, New Orleans backs are against the wall.
Yeah.
Defense is kind of so. You don't know what New Orleans is going to look like this week. So this may be a guy who have an offensive explosion if they're targeting him 6 to 7 times. And he's having 70, 60. He's averaging 70 yards a game. So just think about that.
Yeah, you seriously may want to think about it. I know Dallas defense has been out there on some waiver wires. They're playing Miami this week. It doesn't get any easier.
That's a gimme right there, man. I mean,
that's
but you know what? I woke up this morning and I said, if I know, because I was looking at my other fantasy teams on FanDuel.
Yeah. And
I said, if I know Dallas like I know them, they're going to make this a football game Sunday. They're going to make this a football game.
Josh Rosen
is starting.
I just can't see Miami doing anything. I'm sorry. You know, Kid, you're a Miami fan out there. You're listening to this podcast, man. I am so sorry. I am sorry for you having to sit through these 17 weeks, man. And I really hope this pays off for you because you guys, and I may be cold in saying this, but you haven't had success outside of Dan Marino, man.
No.
The next closest thing, who's the next closest thing, in your opinion, to success?
Chad Pennington.
It's Chad Pennington. That shouldn't be. That should not be.
Who's the quarterback? That was the quarterback when it was wildcatting, right?
You know, it may have been. It may have been because, you know, that's really been some time ago.
Yeah, that was Ronnie Brown.
Ronnie Brown, boy.
What's the other running back?
Who the hell didn't they bring back Ricky Williams during that era?
No, it was Ronnie Brown. It was another SC, Cadillac Williams.
No, it wasn't Cadillac. Cadillac was still in Tampa.
You sure it wasn't Cadillac?
We're going to look this up and we're going to post this on social media because that was a dumb time in Dolphin football. Who was it? Sperano?
Yeah.
Man, that just didn't fly. That wild cat was a wild turkey, and it did not fly. But what flies are the role players, because we're some of the flyest guys that you will hear in the podcast land for sports and a little entertainment. I know we haven't gotten into a lot of college football this year, but man, there's so much going on in the NFL. I really want to get into college football. I want to get into baseball. We're going to have some storylines for you. I'm actually going to put out the show this week. I had a long week, and sometimes it's just like that, but thanks for listening to the podcast. It's been an excellent episode. We've had a lot of fun with a lot of these storylines. I am Mr. Words of Wisdom Byron, a.k.a. B, a.k.a. B-Knox, a.k.a. a B-Rad. I don't know how I got that one. But you're also here with Mr. Philosophical J, the coach, and the bro. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Home of the Role Players, Spreaker, and several other podcast platforms. Don't forget to find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Go ahead, shoot us a tweet. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man. I need y'all to tell a friend to tell a friend. We have done the thing, and we are going to go ahead and close this thing out. And here's to week 3 for all my NFL heads. It's a coin toss. Heads or tails, baby.